Welcome to the Industry Insider, brought to you by PromoCorner. Each week, promotional product professionals Meg Erber, Jeff Franklin, and Stephen McFadden, along with special guests, will discuss industry news, trends, and events with a focus on educating the promotional products industry. The Industry Insider, the nerdy news you need to know.
Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I'm joined today by three other lovely folks. But before we get to them, we got to tell you about our fine sponsors for today, Bell Promo. They're the home of the 12-piece minimum on everything. They offer simplified pricing, one low setup, and never repeat setups, regardless of the number of colors, locations, or decoration method. Bell Promo has the largest inventory of product styles and colors in the top categories like drinkware, bags, writing instruments, and apparel. Bell Promo offers free samples and was one of the 2021 best places to work. So be the reason someone smiles today and check out bellpromo.com. That's BELPROMO.com. Tell them the Industry Insider sent you. Why don't we say hey to Steve McFadden? How are you doing today, sir?
I am great. I am
good.
Fantastic.
Glad to hear it. You look good, man. I like that shirt. It's a
well, thank you. I thought I'd get it fancy for the occasion today. So, yeah, I got the memo.
And you're clean shaven. It looks like your ears got lowered a little bit as well.
I did. Haircut, no beard, getting ready to get the sun on the face. So it's 85 today, and got a Mexico factory trip next week, which I'm excited about, and then following that is the promocation cruise. So I'm like, need to get some sun on the face.
A lot of fun traveling this month for you. It sounds awesome. Well, you're definitely going to get some sun in your face with the some of the locations you're going, so that won't be a problem. That won't be a problem.
How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing all right. So are you the guy that puts you just glob the white sunscreen on your nose?
No.
I feel like
I'm the guy, the weird guy. So we'll do the spray, and I'll still spray my face. I just hold my breath real quick and I spray my face.
Yeah, that's what I do to my kids. I'm like, hold your breath.
Meg Erber.
Everyone's like, no, you don't put that on your face. I'm like, yeah, I do. I watch.
Meg Erber, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. UPS just pulled up and I hear the dogs like, we're going to get them. So I might have to mute, but doing really good. I just had a bunch of big things happening in my personal life right now. And I'm super excited. And one of them has to do with Maine. so excited about that. But stay tuned. And yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm glad to have Kate here today. I met her last year at Women's Leadership Conference, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm really excited to hear all about this upcoming Women's Leadership Conference for 2023.
Yeah, well, don't just launch into the topic yet, Meg. You're jumping ahead of yourself here, all right? We are joined today by a very special guest, Kate Alavez with Promo Shop. Kate, it is customary for us to give our special guests a good 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself and tell us how you got started in the promotional products industry and maybe what you've been up to since. So take it away. Thank you for joining us, first of all. Go ahead and take it away.
I met Meg last year, and she was absolutely fantastic. We had the great fortune of hearing her speak, and I think everyone in the audience immediately connected to you, Meg. So it was really nice and such an honor to be invited here and get to know everyone on this show. I really appreciate that. A little bit about my start in the industry. I actually worked in a completely different industry in a corporate environment and was moving towards Siemens. We had gotten bought out. I was doing a junior kind of fast track program for an apprentice executive position. And then Kimba Collier, who was our Women of Achievement last year for PPAI, she is a family friend and said, look, if you're looking for a change, before you uproot your life and move to New Jersey and do this big corporate thing, maybe think about something creative. She referred me here to Promo Shop. And I was just a kid. I had the opportunity to meet with Memo, who is still our owner today and an absolute gift to everyone that he meets. And I interviewed with our prior COO, Jim Busher, who really helped build my desire to stay in this industry and a career for me by becoming my mentor. So I had the opportunity to work with him until his passing in 2014. And at that time, I talked to our CFO and our owner, Memo, and said, how can I help? And everyone in the organization rallied together to try to live up to Jim's great expectations. And a few years after that, I was moved into the C-suite here. I've been here a very long time, just about 17 years. I really love the job. I started in an entry-level role here and have had the opportunity, just working with this great team of people, to build something that I'm proud of with people that I care about and love in an industry that I think is creative and pushes the limit for what we can do with client messages and branding. Outside of that, I do a lot of service work with my kids. I have 2 kids, just finished my MBA program, and am looking to kind of push service forward. Outside of the industry, we work with some soup kitchen programs, and my daughter is a Girl Scout, so we do a lot of that, a lot of art, a lot of reading, but that's kind of the basic synopsis of my history in the industry and a little about who I am.
That's awesome. And funny, you mentioned Memo. I met him for the first time at PPAI this year. He was a contestant, or no, sorry, he was a judge on the pitch. And so I thought that was neat because I've heard so much about him. And Promo Shop, guys, they are an early adapter of the Water for Good fundraiser with Promo Cares. And they've already raised over $6,000 for the event. They kind of got the inside scoop through Scott. But yeah, so thank you guys for all your support on that as well. So yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about being here is having kind of that purpose-driven mission. I know all of you do a ton of work for the industry that helps us connect to others for that big mission-driven project. So I am glad to be in good company with all of the great work that you all have done.
Oh, thank you very much, Kate.
So out of that whole introduction, the only thing that I understood was that we now have the hookup for peanut butter patties.
Totally. So my daughter is like a Girl Scout boss, and she is a serious salesperson. When I asked her to set her goal, she always mentioned something totally insane, like 900 boxes. And I have to kind of like talk about expectations that are realistic, right? We want to like deliver on our goals. So yes, we are the definite hookup. She's like 4 feet of all cookie power.
You should be hooking that up and like pushing that through our industry. Like honestly, like working for a distributor, you should have every supplier rep being like buying boxes of Girl Scout cookies from her.
We should have an episode, like a telethon episode, I feel like maybe, and we just sell Girl Scout cookies and be like, all right, we've got 12 boxes of Samoas going once, going twice, and they're gone.
And they ended up on eBay this year, right? Yeah. So that's like a big deal. Like we have Girl Scout cookies on eBay.
Because they weren't available, right, for like shipping yet or something. So like people were crazy. Like I was waiting so long, and now I'm on the
it's like a real thing, right?
What's that?
The cookie business is a real thing.
It is. It is a real thing.
For sure. So tell us about Women's Leadership Conference, because we definitely want to dive into the topic, and we're excited about it. We talk about it and discuss it every year. So this year the event does start on June 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So why don't we talk about maybe the history of Women's Leadership Conference and go from there?
Yeah. So Women's Leadership has a long legacy in the industry of being kind of an incredible place for women to connect in a professional setting, build a network, maybe meet your next mentor or best friend in the industry. I know a lot of great relationships and kind of powerhouse networking pieces have been established at this conference. This year, there's nothing that differs from that in terms of continuing that fantastic legacy. Our theme is Inspire, Ignite, Invest. So our goal is to help women not just do the work while they're there, right? But how are we planting the seed for everyone to go back to their offices, to your life after the conference, and use the things that you kind of spent a couple of days working on in a conference room to help you build that next level, whether that's your career or your personal life or your network, finding a mentor, or just building that purpose into that everyday space. I don't know about everyone else, but I certainly can use the moment to get motivated again, right? Especially where I am, having been here a long time, as much as I love my job, meeting someone new and taking some time to do that work in a professional development session really helps me feel completely different when I come back here. And I want to be a better version of myself after meeting women in the industry that have set the stage. Ronnie Wright, Meg, of course. We always have Charity Gibson. We have an incredible team at PPAI who have really just set up the structure for our agenda, and our work group is absolutely outstanding. So just working with all of these incredible women has really given, even just in the planning stages, the motivation for me to want to do more and be better in my job and in my personal life as well.
We have some amazing speakers already set up too. So do you guys have a keynote set up yet? Do we have a keynote already? So last year, for instance, you had that wonderful woman from NASA on imposter syndrome. I left there so inspired by her talk and the way she carried herself, and to hear like someone like her actually had imposter syndrome, it really resonated. It really resonated. And I hear so many women that have that because they just do. And I don't know, it really resonated. So I didn't know if we had a keynote, something already set up yet, or if that's still in the works.
Yeah, so one of the signature pieces of WLC is that there are 2 or 3 outside of the industry speakers, and we do have them all set in the schedule to talk about how we work with people who are not like us, how to open up and inspire our passion to move forward, a big discussion about negotiating our worth. And so we have 3 speakers that we have set into the agenda, one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end, to help us kind of look outside the industry for maybe trends like you're talking about with imposter syndrome. Certainly this year, the discussion about negotiation and how we identify our worth and speak to our worth in both a business and personal setting. But then also working with people who aren't like us, and why that enriches all of our workplaces, all of the work we do in our service organizations, in our business, what that helps us do when we think about perspectives that are not our own and welcome and honor those wherever we may be.
I really like that. I think I just jumped ahead because I was going to ask, why is it beneficial? But when you hear about the quality of the speakers and what they're talking about and the topics, I mean, that's it right there. I didn't even know any of that. Like, that's really incredible. Why else should the women of this industry, give us some key points of why the women of this industry, why it's so beneficial for them to attend this year in particular?
WLC is a unique space because it is all women. Right. So there is something pretty incredible when you have an opportunity to break away from maybe what you're doing daily and kind of put that aside. Right. For me, that outside my office, the cookie business, everything, the kids, the schedules, and just take time to meet people and hear their stories. So not only do we have a professional development session in every moment of the day, right? We have these incredible dialogues. We also have what we call promo snacks, and there are these opportunities to meet women with a story that might be a little more vulnerable. This year, not only talking about cause efforts, through PPAI and other organizations, but also talking about work-life balance and what it means to address mental health and how we show up at work and what that feels like. So those are pieces that are 15, 20-minute segments that are between professional development sessions in a room of all women, where you have nothing to do but just focus on being together, on building your thoughts, on taking notes in your motivation notebook if you're kind of nerdy like I am. And then in my own particular case, I am an extreme introvert and really worked internally for a long time before I realized I didn't know many industry people. So this was a great opportunity for me to connect with people, Meg, like you, who are more extroverted, and identify who might be my next business mentor, or who do I want to call afterward and say, hey, I love what you talked to everyone about, in customer experience. Talking to Lauren was a big deal, and meeting some of these women that you've always heard about, Ronnie, right? You get up close and personal with people who have built the industry and who've identified how to be the best version of yourself. At 150 women, you can really have some deep conversations.
You definitely can. And I will say the one company that I, as a supplier, kind of looking in, and I don't want this to shade any negative light, but Bell Promo was actually our sponsor. And, they, in the past, they've had a reputation. And I feel like when they brought in these names like Susan and Tom and like these really good people, and they changed the reputation of the company. And I think part of that started when Susan started attending these women leadership conferences, and then started meeting and networking with the wonderful women that are there, including Charity, who became her biggest cheerleader. And people respect Charity, and they respect her opinions and her professional opinions. And people, I really felt like it started opening up their their minds like, hey, let's give them another shot. And we did that. We brought Tom on right when Tom got started there, and we were just like blown away by the transparency and everything. So something as little, even if it's not little, but just as little as attending Women's Leadership Conference and making these connections have such a long-term, bigger picture for the entire company. And maybe that's just me looking in. That's how I see it. I could be off by a million yards, but that's just what I saw.
I think you're spot on, right? Like what we do when we connect with others is open up opportunities for us to maybe look at what we want to do going forward. So I've had the opportunity to talk to women that I never would have been able to speak with, especially as an extreme introvert, getting that kind of dedicated space to ask questions and learn about new ways to do things and bring those back here so we can plant the seeds on something that might be better for all of our employees here and help us show up with that authenticity that we always want to lead our conversations.
So I have a question as a member who's never been. Jeff, you've been, so that's why I'll ask this question. So I love all the topics, and they seem great, and they actually seem like topics I would enjoy too. So let me ask this, just kind of being completely ignorant for this. What do you see as the importance of having this kind of a conference specifically for women in our industry, and what value do you think that provides to have that space?
As a women's only conference, is that specifically?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think there are certain challenges that are specific to being a woman in any business, right? And there are just different layers of discussions that you can have if you are experiencing those same things. So imposter syndrome certainly happens to everybody, but it's probably a bigger challenge for women than it may be for men. Not in all cases, of course, right? When we talk about negotiating our worth, we're hearing from a woman who has negotiated her worth and teaches women to talk about money in a way that is really fearless. And maybe this isn't everyone else's experience, but I certainly know that I wasn't, I grew up in the 80s, right? So no one was talking to me about negotiating my worth in the 80s. Like that was not a discussion that we had. And my parents were very into, forward thinking, but they really did not sit me down and have a lot of conversations about how I can show up in my job as a woman and kind of face some of those things that maybe I wasn't prepared to do, and I've been extremely blessed working with Memo because he is such an open and kind person that I don't have necessarily those challenges here, but I certainly understand what it is to, if I have a meeting with someone who is talking about operations for the building or a contractor, so often I get asked, okay, but who's the decision maker?
Right.
I want to talk to your boss, right? Or the things that show up that might be tougher for people to think about. Like, what does that work-life balance look like if you are, balancing being pregnant? What if you're a mom? What if you have to show up and try to balance how to get back to the school? And there are some things that are specific to gender as women that we're supposed to show up in a certain way for our kids. And I think this is a nice opportunity to have those conversations fearlessly and in a space that allows both vulnerability and professional development discussion to exist.
That's awesome. So I did just want to interject really quickly and just correct myself because I said the event started on Monday, June 26th, but it's actually Sunday, June 25th. That's when you guys have the meetup and networking from 3 to 6 p.m. Central, and then you've got the Women of Achievement celebration as well. So out of an event like that, and then I noticed you, Kate, on Monday the 26th, you're the opening welcome reception. That's pretty awesome. You excited about that?
I am. I'm extremely intimidated, if I'm being very honest, right? So, we had Ronnie Wright led the work group last year. Some of these industry titans who built both incredible companies, but also service-based organizations have showed up in PPAI volunteering in all these different ways. So I am just trying to make sure I take copious notes in advance, and then a few deep breaths and drink less coffee so that I'm not totally noticeably terrified on stage.
Less coffee is never the way to go, Kate.
Well,
double it.
Problem.
Double it. Yeah, double down always.
Yeah.
Hey, so for those that have never been, who would you say that would be like the best candidates for going? Like who should attend an event like this?
If you are a woman in the industry, you should go.
Oh, here. Okay. Awesome.
And I think that the reason that is so important is because I waited a long time before I got connected to this. And I really would have benefited from being able to ask some of these questions early on and meet some of these women, you know, celebrating the woman of achievement and being right there and talking about how you build this space for yourself and employees around you and wherever you are in the organization. So if you are new to the industry, if you are an emerging leader, if you are a tenured or senior leader, we want to see you there, right? Because the value comes in the relationships that we're building. And so we don't get that if we don't have people from all over the industry in every area, whatever your passion and joy. You're a woman in the industry, this conference is for you.
All right, why don't we tell everybody, so we know when it is, where is it, and why did we choose this location? Because I think that's a really big important factor when people are deciding like where to go, why to go there, you know.
Yeah. So we are in Eagan, Minnesota this year. The location was selected for a couple of reasons. One, because we get great outdoor space, right? So if you've ever been to a conference and you spend most of the time in that city in a convention center or in a hotel room, a hotel conference room, you get home and you're kind of like, I have no idea what just happened, right? But this is an opportunity to network outside. We're right near the lake in Eagan, Minnesota. And you can sign up online at PPAI and register there. The discounted price, $1,195, is available before May 14th. So you do want to register now before that price goes up.
Awesome. I think we had that on the ticker, but where was it again? It was ppai.org/WLC or something along those lines. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
PPAI.org/events/women's leadership conference.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
I'll put it up again, Meg. I mean, it was already up there for like 10
Sorry,
minutes.
I wasn't looking. I'm trying to think if I had any other questions about this. I don't know. I went last year. It was my first in-person one, and I had gone to the virtual one the year prior. And I was so inspired by Joanne Lance. And the one thing I left was invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. And so I continue to do that. I would love to pass that advice on to any woman that has listened to this and isn't sure if this is right for them. It is right for you. Invest in yourself. You are responsible for your own future. So I would highly recommend it. I learned so much from it. I believe that we're going again this year. I hope so. I hope, because I just can't wait to see all you wonderful women. And that's the thing. You're in a room with like-minded individuals. We're all on that same path to be better than we were before, to be leaders at our companies and to learn more about yourselves and how to just be a leader in this industry. Yeah, as a woman.
I'm will
so
say,
glad you decided to show up last year. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, you're good. No, I was just gonna say, like, having never been to Eagan, Minnesota, I think it is probably a really good location for you guys because number one, it's like kind of centrally located, so it'll be easier and maybe a little cheaper for people to fly to from all over the place, regardless of where you're coming. But then it's also nice that you guys picked like a northern location for a summer event, you know, so it'll be a little bit nicer outside.
Yes.
So yeah,
how many times has it been Dallas in July, right? It's like
yeah.
The humidity. So will Ronnie be doing yoga again?
Ronnie is definitely doing yoga again. I think that's an industry staple and something that we all look forward to. She was so kind and actually did some wellness sessions for our employees. And she is definitely always that person that you look toward when you just want to get centered and balanced before you start the day. So absolutely.
Awesome. That's like one of my favorite things. I love it. And I'm looking forward to it. So do you guys have any other questions for Kate or anything that we think everyone needs to know? No?
I don't think so. I mean,
No,
I
there's a lot.
unfortunately am
Thank
not able to attend. So, I mean, you could try to sell me all day long. Unfortunately, it's just not a sale that can happen. But there are plenty of women out there, I'm sure, that are curious of Women's Leadership Conference. And I know that there's a lot of young ladies in the industry that are coming up. And so, you know, the more, you know, networking opportunities and social gatherings and, you know, educational experience you can get is always helpful. So definitely check it out. The link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and I'm sure it'll be up in the comments as well. But yeah, I'm excited for all the ladies in the industry to be able to do it. And I think it's cool to see who the woman of achievement is every year as well. So yeah.
You actually bring up a great point, though. If you are a man in the industry and you want to know how to help, you can spread the word, right? So you can be about advocacy. You can be one of our partner champions and help us get women in your organization excited. Maybe people don't always get the emails, right? Sometimes it's hard to get those emails out of your inbox, or they hit your spam filter. So spread the word and help us generate that joy for a conference that is really kind of unparalleled in our industry.
Love it.
Awesome. Any other questions? Steven, you look like you're full of them.
Oh, I'm always full of it. Yeah. No, it was great. There's certain topics that obviously each of us have more to add and to offer, and this is one where I like to learn and listen and kind of pick everyone's brains and see if there's a question out there that others might have, and to try to get discussion about it. So I think this is great to spread the awareness of the event, to learn more about it, and hope it's another successful one.
Yeah, so for us, when we're creating the content for this podcast, it's always one of those things where, is it better to do it, before the event and kind of try to promote it, or is it better to do it after the event and sort of, bring some of that educational knowledge to the audience that, wasn't able to be there, and to sort of nullify some of that FOMO that people may have. But, we may do a follow-up maybe after Women's Leadership Conference and maybe discuss some of the keynote speakers and things like that. So, who knows? But yeah, I'm just excited to see what comes out of it. And I'm excited for you guys. So awesome. Meg, anything else?
Nope. Kate, thank you so much again. It was great to have you as a guest. You're inspiring, just being around you and everything that you've done in your life. And you're just someone that I've always looked up to. So I was really honored to meet you last year and now friends.
Well, I really appreciate the invite. It's such an honor to be here with all of you. And Megan, I look forward to seeing you at WLC.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Very cool. Well, look, this podcast was brought to you by our friends over at Bell Promo, and they are the home of the 12-piece minimum on everything. They offer simplified pricing, one low setup, and never repeat setups, regardless of the number of colors, locations, or decoration methods. Bell Promo has large inventory and product styles and colors, and in top categories like drinkware, bags, writing instruments, and apparel. And they offer free samples and was one of the 2021 best places to work. So be the reason someone smiles today and go check them out at bellpromo.com. Tell them the Industry Insider sent you. Tell them they got a little bit of an extra shout out from Meg Erber today on the Industry Insider. And look, guys, until next time, it was fun, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of PromoCorner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit PromoCorner.com.